that sense appears to pull you inside this opening.
Okay, well, I'm gonna walk towards the opening. Is there any kind of magical barrier that seems to be blocking anyone, or?
Nope.
I do tell Tara, like, we should let Lena go first, because there have been times when the barriers will stop us unless she's the first to cross.
Yes, we have learned that the hard way.
A couple times.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll walk in and look around for that like stone pedestal that seems to be a recurring feature.
As you step inside, this opening does kind of narrow down to a more reasonable size. And after a couple minutes of walking in, first of all, you don't feel anything when you step through as you're leading the group. And eventually it narrows to a more familiar looking chamber on the inside with a pedestal with a handprint on it, a circular dais, a series of torches, and a door across the far side of the room.
Tessian produces the ring, the signet ring of his mother's, and hands it to Tara. And is like, make sure you get this back to Mother. This is perhaps where you should let us be. The Cornetus proper will start here at this dais. And, well, I appreciate seeing you again, sister.
Are you sure you want to get rid of the ring?
What do you mean?
Well, why not keep it for just in case? It's net required for something later on.
I mean, I don't know. He kind of looks at Tara and he's like, wouldn't Mother miss it?
Probably, but if you thought it was necessary, she would understand.
And he kind of pockets it and he's like, it may take a bit to get back, but let her know that I will return it.
Sure. At the very least, it'll put her mind at ease to know it hasn't been stolen or is missing or something. If she knows you have it, I mean, I would say bring it back when you can, but I don't think it'll hurt anything.
Well, assuming we don't die, but yes.
You can see Tara's kind of hesitant. Like, she knows she has to go, but she's kind of like, I didn't get to do anything, and this looks interesting, but duty calls, so she says, made it this far, I suppose. Good luck on the inside, and if I don't see you again, Tessian, I hope you visit soon, especially when we're under better circumstances.
He goes up and gives his sister a hug. Even if she's sort of like, yeah, you know.
She doesn't like resist it, but she doesn't return it right away. She's not like, yeah, open arms as you approach her, but as you hug her, she kind of like slides her hands around you too.
Gives me like the pat of
sure,
like,
yeah. Like, this isn't really my thing, but sure, it's been a while, and yeah, we're sure.
And
then she makes her way back in the direction you came in. Okay, torch in hand. Activating the platform.
Activating
the pedestal?
hand pedestal thingy. Here we go.
As you do so, the almost familiar at this point, this is now the fourth time, it glows in response to your hand. The torches around the dais all light. And there is a humanoid shape in the center of the dais, laying there on the ground with their eyes closed. And we can go ahead and switch to...
I'm not going to say this doesn't amuse me, but just please let it be a good helper this time.
What was wrong with the last one?
It was fine.
Oh, Crash died.
Fine. I'm still having PTSD from the little man who said he was a god.
Well, true, but I guess we won't know until we know. And Tessian will go over and try to, like, I don't know, wake up this person who's sleeping. What do they look like and all that.
So, Chris, if you want to go ahead and describe what your character looks like, what he's wearing, like what's on his person, now's your chance. And you're still muted, by the way. Which was good for before now, but now is hurting you.
There we go.
This is where you find out he's deaf or mute.
Yeah, I'm just going to be signing the whole time, guys. I hope you learned. No, you see it's a half-elf. Probably, if you had to judge by human years, he's probably in his mid to early 20s. His garb is more on the lines of humans. Light leather armor, nothing remarkably fancy, but he's holding in one hand a violin, and then in the other a rapier.
Is there any? I guess this is a question for you. We're both Chris's. Is there any distinguishing marks on the clothing that might indicate like a city, place of origin, organization, or anything like that?
Not in particular, no.
Okay.
There's nothing that you're familiar with.
Okay.
As you approach the dais, you're able to kind of like gently shake this newcomer, and you can touch them. They are physically here. And as you're doing so, their eyes open, and you return to consciousness.
Are you alive there, friend?
Oh, how long have I been asleep?
Honestly, we couldn't tell you. Here, let us help you to your feet, and Tessian will try to help him stand or sit.
Okay, I'm just gonna gratefully take your hand and start sitting up. Oh,
What's the last thing you remember?
it's a good question. It's a little bit foggy, but this is not anything new. Weird.
What's not anything new? You're used to waking up among strangers with no recollection of how you got there.
Yes.
Excellent. Great.
Funny story. Puddles of water and I are not friends. If I make a wrong step into a still puddle of water, I get swept off to God's knows where. So, forgive me. Let me get my bearings.
Is that like a metaphor, or like actually you get teleported when you step in water?
Literally.
Great. Good. That's good.
Terrible, but okay.
For the viewers, off air, we did talk about the fact that it's a good thing this wasn't the water temple.
Yeah. It's funny. Isaac is thinking the same thing.
Oh, no. It's if the water's been troubled, it's not really any big deal. That's actually how I got my last name, Stormfloat. I could walk into puddles all I want as long as the water's disturbed, but we're good. That's neither here nor there, though. Where are we?
Well, friend, it might take a bit more explaining than we have time for, but the gist of it is we are partaking in something of a quest, a sacred shrine, as it were, and part of this sacred ritual involves a newcomer, so to speak, someone pulled from some place or time that we ourselves have no control over. Fate, destiny, honestly, we're not entirely sure which cosmic machinations pull them from where, but you have been selected for whatever reason. Perhaps your unique, misfortune with these puddles has something to do with it, but you are here to assist us in completing this shrine. This is not the first time we've done one, and you are not the first to assist us. The gist is that you will be here to get us to the end, and when all is said and done, you will be returned, hopefully, back from where you came, or at the very least, you will no longer be here. We can't be certain what happens after that.
Yeah, so if fulfilling destiny wasn't enough of a motivation, this helping us see through to the conclusion is your means to return home. So hopefully that's enough incentive.
Hopefully I do go home. Otherwise, that's a little concerning, but I'm along for the ride. How can I help?
Tessian will extend his hand to kind of help you get to your feet, and he'll just be like, any way that you can. We tend to find people who are, in one way or another, beneficial, even if they are occasionally annoying. And he shares a glance with Isaac.
Yeah, call me skeptical of your use. No offense, friend, but the fact that condensation could spell the end of you does not make me feel particularly good about what we're about to embark on.
Yeah, this will be fine. Think about it this way. If I get swept up into a puddle, then I'm no longer your problem.
He has a fair point. Isaac.
Sure.
But yes, introductions are in order. I am Tessian Nikolai Black II. This is Isaac, Lena, and Karash.
Lovely to meet you.
He motions to everybody. Y'all can bow or
I will
flip him off,
nod
you know.
and say it's good to meet you. It'd be better if we could meet under more positive circumstances, not in a shrine, but good to meet you all the same.
Nice to meet everyone as well. What do you mean under better circumstances? Is this place particularly dangerous?
Oh, yes, quite so, actually. I wish I could tell you what sort of traps or dangers will await us. They tend to be themed in some way, sometimes fire or wind, elemental, as it were. I'll admit I'm not entirely sure. I guess this one is plants or trees or something. This is something of an oddity for us, but suffice to say there will be puzzles and challenges that are themed around a particular element, and at the conclusion, Lena here is a druid. She will gain some form of control over these elements, this element in particular, I suppose. But yes, that's sort of the gist of it. Your friend, I'm sorry, your name, friend.
Amir Thane. Amir Thane Stormfloat. Pleasure to meet you.
And he'll actually shake your hand, I suppose, since he's close enough to.
Shake your hand back.
Mirathane. That sounds complicated. I'm going to call you Violin Guy until I find a more creative nickname that better suits you.
That'll work. It'll be fine.
I guess Tessian will turn to Lena and the other. Did you say there were other doors, Chris?
There is a door on the far side of the chamber, opposite where you came in. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Lena, I suppose you should lead the way.
All right, everyone. Looks like we need to go this way to start. So, and then I will lead the way. Is there a lock on this door or any kind of writing?
There is not. And if you touch the handle, it shocks you to death.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sick.
It's actually meant to be Karash doing this leg of the journey. That's unfortunate. You should have seen that coming. It is able to be turned and opened if you so desire.
Yeah.
Inside is a small, narrowed hallway that opens up into a relatively small room. As you step through this doorway, the door slams shut behind you, and you notice there is no handle or knob on this side of it. Isn't that convenient? And what you see before you is another door on the opposite side of the chamber. Has a handle on it. Can't make out any of the details from this far across, but could certainly go check it out if you'd like. And there are a series of wooden statues on what appear to be small stone pedestals. The pedestals maybe rise up about 3 feet or so, about waist level. And then on them are about 2.5 foot tall statues, all in a circular pattern, facing a center altar in the middle of the chamber that you have to go inspect to see further because it's raised. It's on there's a couple steps to get up to it. You can't see the top of it from here. But 9 statues, a circular dais in the middle that's raised and out of your sight for the time being, and a door across the room. Other than that, the ground all appears to be kind of grassy on the interior of this. Not so dense that it's tough to walk through, but still relatively populated. The walls almost appear to be this carved out earth, and the ceiling is the same as well. Like past shrines, all of it does appear to be not done by hand, but magically done because it's almost too perfectly smooth throughout the chamber. But that is what you see.
I mean, Tessian will walk up onto the center of the platform to get up on top to see, are there patterns or anything else and all that.
Yeah, I do want to take a look at that as well.
Well, just climbing right up on it, huh?
Well,
thought-
if there are traps, we might as well spring them.
I suppose. I'll
that's them.
inspect the side. I'll inspect some of the statues, some of the 9.
Everybody make an investigation check.
While I'm looking, I would ask Amir Thane. So what chapter is this of your own story? Do you have your own mission back home? Are you liberating your city or seeking someone out for vengeance?
Right now, I just enjoying life. I got kicked out of my forest, so I've been wandering from town to town, and just enjoying the sights and the sounds that they have to offer.
Have you ever
Occasionally.
used that rapier?
Yes, I have. It actually doubles. He spins it around in his hand. You can see the other side of the rapier has a violin's bow attached to it. I use it for a lot of things. But yes, it's seen its fair share of action.
Actually, I had a question about that. It's a nifty invention. I imagine you wouldn't want to mix up the sides for a couple different reasons.
For a couple. But it's a very special gift. The forest spirits from Thorngrove are... They thought I was cute at first for the first 12 years of life, and then they decided that they were going to give me a gift and a curse, and the gift was the violin and the bow, and the curse was the puddles. That depends on what you view as a curse. So sometimes it's fun.
Do I recognize Thorngrove?
It is a location, yeah. It's west of Land's End, on the northern side of the Alizarin Desert. I think that's what it's called. Pretty far south of Waychester, but yeah, it's a location you've heard of. It's pretty much exclusively a population of half elves and
half-elves,
elves. They're
yeah.
relatively secluded. Yeah, it's a place that is known, although it's not a place you've been.
From what do you happen to know the year from which you hail, Amir Thane?
They put him on the spot.
Yeah, we didn't discuss that part.
Because we don't have an actual calendar with a date on it,
Yeah,
I'll just
we're-
simplify this and tell you that he thinks it's about 20 years ago.
Okay, that's the gist of what we were looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
If this is 2020, he thinks it's 2000.
I think it's 2000. Yeah.
It's a very different world.
Do you have a recollection of a great war that shaped your continent?
And you do, yes.
Yes.
So this is one who could actually be from our world.
Yes.
Wrong
just-
time.
Yeah, we do explain, but we say, like, Tessian says, you are 20 years roughly in the future, by the way. No way of knowing if you will be returned to your proper time. We certainly hope so, but, you know, I'd say if you had any questions, you could ask us, but there's actually no guarantee that that works, so...
I mean, if there's a way that I could stay, I'd like to avoid a war.
Well, unfortunately, we don't know how to let you stay yet. Although we are working on a way to undo whatever magic binds you and the other souls we've met to this quest, so to speak. But not yet. Well, we haven't figured it out.
Interesting.
I did roll an 11.
So yeah, what do we got for numbers here?
20, not natural.
5.
13. I'm checking out the statues with.
You've been quiet, Mike.
Yeah, your volume is way down.
Oh, and was
you're-
it still quiet?
It's a little better,
Wait, did I change my settings?
possibly. Because it's not a Skype thing, because Chris is about the right volume. Chris, what'd you get?
12.
I'll let Mike work on that. Although I did not hear what he said his number was. You said something about looking at statues with Isaac, but I didn't catch the number.
13.
Okay. So Tessian's on the dais. Crash and Isaac are on statues. The other two are kind of looking about. So, on the dais, Tessian, as you're inspecting these, you see on the top of this stone slab of sorts, there appears to be 3 circular indentations, evenly spaced out in the center of this kind of squared off dais in the center of the room. They look identical in size, and as you're looking around with that score, yeah, on the back side of the dais is an inscription. It says, "Those who shall be rewarded are the ones who keep things sorted." As for the folks inspecting the statues, there are 9 of them, each on one of these stone pedestals that comes about waist height. All of them sitting on what appears to be a circular base. Between the groups of you, I can just kind of put the pieces together and tell you that they do appear as though they would fit inside the circles on the dais. And among those statues, as you're going through them, are a warrior in plate armor with a spear and a fearsome expression. A somewhat passive-looking black bear. A blacksmith who has a pretty hefty-looking hammer in his hand and has a forge. There is some kind of man decked out in robes who has an abacus. Seems to be like going through and adding something. There is a person in leather armor who has a 2-handed bow at the ready. There is a sprawling tree with what appears to be apples or some other fruit hanging from it. There is a lasciviously dressed woman. Has a come-hither look. There is, strangely enough, just a rooster. Nothing seemingly special about it, just a rooster sitting on a pedestal. And then there is a feather quill and inkwell on a desk. These are all miniature statuettes, about 2.5 feet tall, sitting on top of these pedestals in a circle around the dais.
Tessian will relay the inscription, and obviously, we can piece together that they belong in there. I guess we're supposed to pick the 3 that belong and put them in here. Something to do with sorting?
Sorted, S-O-R-T-E-D?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I figured. You would have made more of a emphasis if it was sorted.
Like with a sword?
No, like S-O-R-D-I-D.
Oh, okay.
You're naughty.
I guess the question is, do we sort them into groups of 3? Are we looking for a single group of 3, or are we looking for, say, 3 groups of 3, or some other combination therein?
Seems like there's 3 holes, right?
Yeah.
So I think we choose the 3 that we think fit. Is the sorting the ones that have a similarities, or is it choosing the ones that seem to do with sorting?
That seems to be the question.
Okay. So,
Oh my god.
guess what we're going to do?
Make a list.
Yes.
I can go through the
Yeah,
list again. So
Black bear.
yes.
Black,
Smith?
Smith.
Black rooster.
Black.
Rooster.
Nope, can't say rooster. It's big black. Never mind.
Yeah.
Desk and inkwell. Leather armor archer.
Yeah, there's a ranger. There is a whore, a slutty woman. I don't know. How'd you describe her?
Lascivious.
Lascivious
A much
woman.
kinder word.
Yeah.
Wow.
There's a woman who is solely here to look hot on this statue.
2 more.
We need the abacus guy.
Abacus. That's
Mhm.
And what was the riddle, the inscription again?
Those who shall be rewarded are the ones who keep things sorted.
Okay.
there was like another archer. There was like two people with.
There was also a full plate warrior with a spear.
I got him.
So those were the two that had weapons of a sort. Those
Yeah, there's
two,
9.
and then there was the blacksmith. Those are the guys that had like weapon-related things. So how many do you have?
Black bear, blacksmith, rooster, desk and inkwell,
Mhm.
leather armor archer, paladin with spear, lavicious woman, abacus guy,
Apple tree.
apple tree.
That's the 9th.
Well, I mean, if we were looking for things in nature, the tree, the bear, and the rooster, of course, are all non-human. But so is the desk and inkwell, although it is not of nature itself. We could sort things by, like if we're looking for those who sort things, the man with the abacus would be, of course, one. I'm not sure of another one. I suppose you could sort apples from an apple tree, but that seems a bit of a stretch.
Are we sorting 3 from the rest, or are we sorting 3 which represent the rest?
That is the good question.
Don't all answer at once.
I'm sorry, Karash. I'm thinking. I'm not the one who was gifted with a bandana that makes him a genius. Maybe you can do some legwork here.
Was joking, Isaac. Joking.
You are still a smidge quiet for what it's worth, Mike. It's better, but
What in the hell? I didn't do anything.
it's better now. Maybe it was just that particular line was quiet.
Oh, I don't know. I'll get right up on the mic.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Just like that.
Some of that sweet, sweet mock loving. Oh, well. Hey, actually, that's a bad choice of words.
I suppose the question is how many different ways can they all be sorted?
What can we sort them by? We have nature, we have professions, gender, perhaps?
I think there's only the one woman?
The tree with apples is fruiting.
The warrior in heavy plate does appear to be female as well.
Okay.
Ah.
I suppose that's potentially 3 if we give plants a gender.
Plants have genders?
I mean, they got both though, so like
Not all of them have both.
apple trees.
Apple trees.
What about colors?
I'm pretty
black
sure you have to
bear.
have
Do you
male.
know it's a black bear because it is black statue?
They're all carved out of like the same type of stone,
Okay.
so it's more about its like size. And
Okay.
The actual shape of it.
I'll tell you this much: the fact that it's a black bear is not important.
The blacksmith, the black bear.
Yeah.
Black
And a big
armor.
black.
Michael Jackson's
Um,
song "Black or White," Pokemon Black.
All right, you win. They have both male and female parts. Apple trees specifically do. Damn.
You got me. I wasn't testing your arboreal knowledge of.
I was concerned that it was a cisgender tree, and that was gonna.
You know,
That's assuming a lot here.
honestly that you're such an ally to the plant folk is really
Consistently, too.
it's what we stand for here on this.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
show.
yeah, yeah. We've Lana in our friend group here. We can't add a minimum. We have to be respectful.
Yeah.
I mean, really, honestly, which makes it sound like I'm saying she's. Oh God. I'm just gonna walk away.
I mean, okay, there could do like warriors, right? Like the man who makes the weapons and like people who use it, but I don't know about that.
The quill is mightier than no shit. The quill is mightier than the sword.
But there are no
Ah,
swords, there's just a spear.
I know, but I mean, there's a blacksmith. He makes those. I don't know. I'm trying here, man.
No, it's fair.
It kills me as probably a 12-year-old somewhere in the world like, oh, that's easy.
There's nothing that's striking out to me right now. There's rough similarities, tenuous at best. I'm looking for something a little more revelatory here.
What do we know of the shrine itself?
We all look at Lena.
How many element? Wait, so I have a fire elemental, water, and hold on, let me just double check my elementals here.
Air. Yeah.
No, earth.
Earth.
I have
Earth. It is Earth. It is Earth. Yeah.
So we might be in the.
Mysteriously, there is no air elemental in this world.
Oh.
Mm.
So what elemental is this then?
Well,
That's because that elemental's been missing for 100
Death
years.
element.
Since the Fire Nation attacked, yeah, get out of here.
Wait, do I actually have a fire elemental? I don't think I do.
yes, you do.
No.
I do?
You do?
It
Oh,
engulfed
no,
like
not
3
air,
of your
sorry.
friends in flames when you fought it.
Oh, I just didn't add it to my thing. Okay, let me fix
They were all
that.
hunka burn in love.
Tessian, read that for me again, will you? Those who will be rewarded.
Are those who
Are the ones who keep things sorted.
are the ones who keep things sorted?
And judging from the amount of trees on the exterior of this place, I think it would be fair to assume that this could be
Some sort of
some sort of
tree
wood,
or
tree, something along those lines. You're not entirely sure because you haven't gone through this before, but that would be your leading guess.
Out of curiosity, are there any other designs on like this dais, or is it just the inscription?
Just the inscription on the back side and those 3 indentations in the top. Also, I fucked up. The statues are made of wood, not stone, but there is still no distinct color to them. That's part of the point, and I don't know what I was thinking. I'm very sorry, and I will apologize 1,000 times.
It's okay. I was gonna say that you'd mentioned they were wood earlier.
I thought I
but
did in the first.
You did when
yeah.
you first described them. It's fine. Are the 3 circles oriented in any way? Is it like 1, 2, 3 left to right, or are they like equal as a triangle or something like that?
There is 1, 2, 3 left to right.
Okay.
Is there anything else on the pedestal itself? Any other writing or any other
And I
inscriptions?
got a 20. I don't.
There does not appear to be. No.
Huh, okay.
Well, I mean, why don't we just try some of them?
Well, I'd consider that myself. Although, given the nature of this place, it'll probably spring some sort of trap on us if we do.
Oh, that's what you mean by dangerous.
Yes. So, as much as we certainly can, we should make sure we put some thought into what we put in there.
I mean, it could be something sequential. A tree is used by a blacksmith to create wooden arrows, perhaps.
That would be a Fletcher, but that's fine. Blacksmith does burn wood in order to create forge, however.
And there's an argument to something like the pen and quill representing an idea that is then given to someone else that then creates a final product of sorts.
God.
I think the nature ones are perhaps our best bet so far, but I don't know that that's the correct answer. They do seem to be the odd ones out, aside from the quill.
I'm willing to try it if no one else is. It doesn't seem to be anything that is more straightforward than that.
I'm at the very least relieved that nobody knew this instantly, because it's one I've seen used elsewhere. And I was like, well, if they get the solution in like 5 seconds, I'm just going to look like an asshole. That's going to be a bummer.
Oh no. As we've learned, this group needs handheld holding for anything that's slightly riddle-like.
Yes.
Oof. You know what? Nobody's arguing with me. I'm gonna do I'm gonna move to put the bear, the apple, and the rooster together.
Is there anything that does like apples are sorted? Yes, when they're collected.
And yes, I mean, sorted the good from the bad, or the windfalls from the fresh.
I suppose I'm simply trying to think of things that you might sort or put into a collection. Wordplay always seems to matter in these sorts of things.
All right. Oh, anybody arguing with me? Goddammit!
I am. I don't want you willy-nilly thinking you're all entitled because you're smart now, just putting pedestals wherever you feel
Okay.
like it. Do you think they designed the Cornatus so that some willy-nilly trial and error thing can get through, or do they want you to figure it out?
I assume they want us to figure it out, but in light of our lack of answers, I'm comfortable trying something.
Well, Lena?
Well, I think in past experience, I don't think firing willy-nilly has been extremely helpful to us. I think we should try to have a clear answer first. I'll admit what that answer is I don't know yet, but
Here's what I'll tell you is throwing me off. And I want to go look and just make sure. I want to look at the spelling of sorted.
As you go back to the pedestal on the backside where Tessian kind of points out where he's been reading it from, it's inscribed, "Those who shall be rewarded are the ones who keep things sorted." SORTED.
Okay.
The T is a little bit less sharply carved than the other letters. Seems like it's been muddled in some way.
So here's what I'm thinking, Tessian. When you said the words, the first thing that came to my head and why I asked you is sordid is a word with another meaning, obviously, than sorted. And I was trying to think of a third sordid. And maybe I was thinking too literally with vocabulary. Do you pick up what I'm saying at all? Sorted, I think, is the abacus, right? So this is the best one we have. Sordid seems to be the woman.
I would agree.
Is the last one, and this is a stretch, someone who provides swords? Then you have a someone is sordid on all accounts.
I don't hate the idea. I suppose the warrior not having a sword, it would have been a better fit if it did. But
I agree.
Spear. What is the blacksmith forging, or do we know if he's forging anything?
Doesn't appear to be forging anything in particular.
No.
Just has his hammer and an anvil at the ready, but he doesn't have a weapon like on the anvil being worked on.
I don't love it, but it's a better connection than trying to strain for, well, an apple tree could theoretically, when whatever road I was pursuing there.
Oh, God.
as usual, there's no spells that are going to help us with this.
I mean,
just
if it were
gotta
that
get-
easy. I detect magic. Oh, the statues are magical. These three right here. Oh boy.
Well, I suppose your answer fits more in line with some of the previous puzzles that we've had.
I did have a good performance on the riddles. Not sure why. That's never really been my forte. Speaking on a meta level here. But it seemed to work out. Karash, you seem to be in deep thought.
I'm looking at the list in front of me, and I'm considering my options. I don't know. I'm afraid, for as gifting as my newfound magic may be, unfortunately, word games in this language are the farthest thing from my forte. I mean, I don't dislike it as a person.
I'm going to start moving the pieces now.
Is there any sort of turn of phrase, say a collection of turn of phrases, say apples, apples and oranges is a way that you might sort something. Are there other turns of phrase that I'm not thinking of that might involve the others? I mean, I don't think,
You can sort apples, but in the same way that you can sort arrows in a quiver or words on a piece of paper. There's just nothing that stands out to me that this is more than anything else, if that makes sense. It's a tree. We're in a place with trees. It just doesn't seem to fit the riddle.
Well, I don't hate your answer.
I'm perfectly comfortable with it if it's given that it makes sense.
Well, let's try it then, and if we're going to go down, I at least like that we feel okay about the answer than just throwing things together.
Worst case scenario, we brace ourselves for some sort of a trap.
Now, I would volunteer to put the pieces in place since it's my idea, but I'm concerned historically it needs to be Lena. Sometimes. This doesn't seem to really fit that.
Oh, then I guess we grab the statues and we just hand them to Lena, who just stands there and puts them in.
Yep.
Abacus for sorted. Woman for sworded. And blacksmith for sworded. If you please.
Of course. And then I put them in, and does anything happen?
We all die.
Well,
Rocks fall.
There is a momentary pause, and you hear a loud clicking noise at the door.
That's bad. Oh, maybe that's good.
Nothing else happens.
I will go run over to the door and see if maybe it unlocked.
It was actually open before you didn't check it. No, it's
Just locked it.
Got him.
It does appear to have been unlocked in a way that it was not before.
Oh, gee. Merry
Hey!
Christmas.
God.
Isaac, you keep saying you're bad at riddles, and yet you are the single person who solves all of them. The door's open, everyone.
Wonderful. Let's go then.
You
Indeed.
can step through into the next chamber. The door, as usual, slams shut behind you once you enter the room. Another similarly sized room, maybe 40 feet by 40 feet. Not super big, but a little bit bigger than the one that preceded it. Squared off instead of rounded. And inside of it is one decent-sized tree. Not anything compared to the ones outside, but it basically goes up to the ceiling, which is about 30 feet tall in this 40 by 40 room. Standing in the center of the room, and two fallen trees alongside of it that look a little bit darker. And as the door slams shut behind you, you see these couple little like red beads of light in the eyes of the tree in the center. It raises its arm branches,
Oh, God.
and the two other trees that have fallen alongside of it also rise into place. And we'll have everybody roll initiative on the next episode of the Anachroschism.